Hey Omi. What's up? We should talk. Do you wanna call? Yeah, I guess. Are you good? Yeah. The phone rings and Atsumu picks it up, putting it on speaker, and places it next to his ear while he lays on his bed. He wonders if Sakusa is in a similar position, or if he's on the couch, or in his kitchen. Hey Tsumu. The sound of Sakusa's sleepy voice makes Atsumu's eyes water. Where was all this remorse coming from? Hey? What did you want to talk about? I have a confession to make. I need you to just listen to me, and at least try to hear me out. Yeah, okay. Atsumu closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When we went on that break last October, I slept with someone. There's silence on the other end of the line for a full minute, he counts, before he hears Sakusa take a deep and shaky breath. With who? Oikawa. Oh. From that one syllable Atsumu feels like can hear Sakusa's whole heart break, and he feels his heart break alongside it. When? October what? It was a Halloween party, it was the 31st of October. Do you remember when we made up, when we got back together? Atsumu furrowed his eyebrows, trying to remember. We got back together the 1st of November. We were on break for 2 weeks. We weren't technically together for 2 weeks. It was only 2 weeks. I'm sorry. Atsumu spoke quietly, his voice almost a whisper. I'm really sorry. And with Oikawa, after you told me not to worry about him. You said that you guys were just friends, you said it was just my anxiety. I didn't think it was like that with him either. How did it happen? That's not. I wanna know. Sakusa's voice cracked. It was at Terashima's party and we were both drinking. It just happened. Who made the first move? Oikawa. Did he take advantage of you? No, I was more sober than he was. Okay, so why are you just now telling me? You didn't think about bringing that up when I made the 4-hour train ride to your house? I didn't know how to talk about it. We were already on such thin ice, I didn't know how to. So you just pretended like everything was fine. Like you went with another guy 12 hours before. Omi-kun. How could you do something like that to me? When we made up was the first time that it was the first time that I ever. And we did that because I trusted you. And not even a full 24 hours before you were touching him and he was touching you. Sakusa let out a strained sob. And I let you touch me that day because I trusted you. Atsumu felt his heart sink. Oh my god. I didn't even think of that. I wasn't even think. Yeah, I know. That you weren't thinking of me. You must not have been thinking of me. Sakusa's voice was cracking, and Atsumu hated that he could tell that Sakusa was crying. And that he was probably trying his hardest to control it. You're all I ever think about, Atsumu. Misophobia aside, I could never cheat on you. How could I cheat when you're all I think about? Why did you wait so long to tell me? Why don't you ever tell me things like this on a normal basis? Do I have to cheat on you to get you to tell me things you should tell me regularly? Sakusa scoffs. What? So it's my fault you cheated? I never once said that. So why did you cheat? Atsumu gulped. Oikawa makes me feel like how you used to make me feel when I first liked you. When I first met you, I was sort of obsessed with you. I would have followed you to the ends of the earth. I basically worshipped the ground you walked on. And I think you liked that. Are you calling me a narcissist? I'm saying you were cold. I'm trying, Atsumu. You weren't trying hard enough. You made me feel like dating me was sort of a chore. So it's my fault you cheated. That's not what I mean. That's what you're saying. Sakusa started raising his voice, and Atsumu started raising his voice too. You never cared. You never acted like you cared. I don't care, are you fucking serious? You have the gall to tell me that I don't care about you, when you cheated on me? Sakusa was fully sobbing. I was shitty at showing it, and I know I wasn't the best to you all the time, but I loved you more than I have ever loved anything. And I know I didn't tell you enough, but I would do anything for you and you. The sobs coming through the speaker were making Atsumu clutch at his chest, his cries starting to match Sakusa's. I'm sorry, I would never do anything to hurt you, I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought you didn't love me anymore, I thought we were over, I thought. I never said that, I never once told you that I don't get to decide that we're over on your own. You never tell me anything. You treated me like a second thought, but now you're acting like I'm the best thing to ever happen to you, and this is the greatest betrayal of all time. It's not fair. You don't get to act like a boyfriend whenever it's convenient. You're the best thing to ever happen to me, and I'm making an effort, and I never felt that effort. Atsumu. Atsumu, this is going to kill me. I'm sorry. Atsumu sniffles and wipes off his tears, more just falling in their place. I'm so sorry. You were the only person who I ever let love me. I was so vulnerable when it came to you. I thought you could love me despite how I was. I did love you despite that, tried to love you despite that. I loved you so much, Omi. And you don't anymore? Atsumu doesn't respond. Oh. So you, Sakusa took a deep breath. Do you love him? Omi. I'm sorry. Stop fucking apologizing. It just makes you feel better, it doesn't help me. I don't know what to say. Atsumu, I can't. Sakusa sniffles. You cheated on me, and I still love you. So stop saying sorry, because if you say it enough times, I think I'll start begging for you back. I think I'll start to forgive you. It's not fair to you, for us to stay together. I know. And as stupid as it is, I don't want you to leave. But I can't stand you. I know. I'm so sorry, Sakusa. Yeah, okay. The call cuts and Atsumu feels like he's being cracked open. Osamu groggily woke up to muffled sounds on the other side of the wall. He shot up, shaking Suna awake weakly. Can you hear that? Suna groaned and rolled over, falling off of the bed and onto the soft carpet, where he continued sleeping. Wake up, you idiot. Osamu kicked Suna's side weakly. Wake up, can you hear that? I think someone's breaking in. Suna lifted his face from the carpet and made a face. Then let them break in. Not my house. Suna, seriously, what is that sound? As Osamu listens closer, his half-asleep brain realizes the noises are coming from Atsumu's room. Osamu stood up in the pitch-black room, not watching where he's going and tripping over Suna's laying body. Fuck. Get up. No. I think Atsumu's getting murdered. Don't care. I care, so therefore you care. It doesn't work like that. Osamu stood up again, feeling his walls for a light switch. You're half of my heart and he's the other half, so you have to get along. If he was dead, I'd get your whole heart. Osamu laughed, finding the switch and turning it on. It doesn't work like that. It should. I'm gonna go check on him. Turn off the light. No, get up. Suna sat up, his face only looking mildly annoyed, and his hair was sticking up in different directions. He looked cute. When you texted me you said, hey, come over, we can both take 2 melatonin and pass out together. That's what I was promised. I don't sound like that. You sound exactly like that. I can't believe I ever fell in love with you, you are such an asshole. I could say the same thing about you, we're sort of the same person. Suna walked over to the light switch and turned it back off, walking back to the bed and pulling the covers over his head. Love you too. Osamu walked over to Atsumu's room, slowly turning the knob and peering through the crack. Instead of seeing a figure standing over Atsumu's dead body, he sees Atsumu sitting in the very corner of his room, throwing a volleyball at the wall opposite him. It's the middle of the night, can you keep it down? It's 7 p.m. There was no mistaking the crack in Atsumu's voice, we have definitely been crying. Why do you do that? Do what? Invite Suna over just to sleep. Osamu hardly thought the question over before he answered. I just like being around him. We don't really have to do anything, I just like being in the same place as him. Atsumu throws the ball at the wall again. Must be nice. Yeah, it is. Atsumu catches the ball and makes eye contact with Osamu. Sakusa and I broke up. Oh. Do you wanna talk about it? Nope. He throws the ball again. If you keep throwing the ball you'll wake Suna up. Atsumu stops, tucking the ball in between his knees and chest. You should be more worried about Sakusa. Is that what you're calling him? No. Omi doesn't feel right anymore. Osamu walks into the room and takes a sit on the floor next to brother. So what now? I don't know. You cheated on Sakusa? The two of them look up to see a totally awake Suna standing in the doorway with his phone in his hands. You what? He cheated on Sakusa. Osamu turned to Atsumu. Is that true? We were on a break at the time, so it wasn't really. With Oikawa? Suna snorts. Holy shit. He flops down on Atsumu's bed, texting away at his phone. It's not that black and white. Well, obviously. Suna rolls on his back, his eyes still glued to his phone. You hooked up with Oikawa, and then slept with Sakusa the day after. That's sick. He pauses. I mean that in the bad way. That's sick in the bad way. Wow, word travels fast. You know how it is, everyone knows everyone. Well, why did you cheat on him? Atsumu shrugged. I'm sick of talking to a bunch of different people about the same thing. How's Sakusa? I don't know. Kyoru and Bakuto are going over to his place to do a wellness check. Make sure he's still alive. Atsumu throws the volleyball at Suna, knocking the phone out of his hands. Don't fucking joke about that. I'm not joking. He's probably fine though, and he definitely wants to be alone. They should just leave him alone. Well, are you and Oikawa together? No. So it was just a fling? Nope, they're totally in love. Who is feeding you all this information? Suna yawns. I have my sources. So you and Oikawa have feelings for each other? We didn't when we hooked up. When we hooked up it was just something we did. We were just fucking around, it was supposed to be. Yeah, okay. Sakusa's alive by the way. Just extremely depressed. And it's all Atsumu's fault. Crazy how life works like that. You suck at this whole comforting thing. Huh? Suna looks away from his phone and raises an eyebrow at Osamu. Who am I trying to comfort? Suna. Osamu's warning tone made Suna shrink back a little. Okay, I sort of understand why you did it, but that doesn't make it any easier for me to sympathize. You have another lover's arms to fall back into, and Sakusa has nobody. So before you start feeling too sorry for yourself. Yeah. You're right. I know. Okay. So now what? Now, we go back to sleep. Suna rolls off of Atsumu's bed, extending a hand towards Osamu. Are you good? The question is direct towards Atsumu, who doesn't respond. To be left alone, are you good? Yeah, I'm good. You can go to sleep, I'll probably go to bed early too. Osamu grabs Suna's hand, pulling himself off of the floor. If you need anything, wake me up. Do not wake him up. Osamu sighs. Wake me up. Suna leaves the room, sending Atsumu one last look, a mixture of disinterest and pity. You know where the stash is, right? Use it whenever. That was the nicest thing Suna had ever said to Atsumu, and it was sort of making Osamu emotional. Thanks, I really am. Whatever, keep your legs closed next time you whore. There's the Suna I know. Atsumu's phone rang from its spot under his bed, and he found himself clamoring to pick it up. It's Sakusa. Hey Sakusa, I was thinking about some more things I wanted to Can you walk me through what happened that night? Sakusa's voice was low but certain as he cut Atsumu off. What? It's bothering me. And I want to know how it happened. Can you walk me through it? That's not going to help either of us, it'll just hurt you more. So now you're worried about hurting me. Sakusa. Just walk me through it. Are you sure? Yeah. I think I'm best dressed. Atsumu looked up to see Oikawa in his fireman costume, the clunky firefighter hat tilting slightly on his head. He hadn't cut his hair in a while, and it had grown into an unruly head of curls. Every time Atsumu looked at him he felt his face go red hot. Is the exposed chest necessary? Atsumu shoved more M&Ms in his mouth and didn't bother trying to avert his stare. I think it's very necessary. Oikawa grinned. Atsumu gets the vision. I think he's the only one who does. Sugar grabbed his keys and adjusted the suspenders on his costume. You're in a maid costume, Akashi. Akashi narrowed his eyes. What point are you trying to make? Never mind. I think Akashi looks hot. Akashi does the thing where corner of his lip tilts up in a half smile, but he's really grinning with his eyes. Thanks. You think everyone looks hot. Everyone does look hot. That's true. Oikawa took a few M&Ms from Atsumu's hand and popped them in his mouth. If it makes you feel better, I think you look really hot, Atsumu. Atsumu flushed, tugging on the hem of his cheerleading skirt. It does make me feel much better, actually. Sugar claps his hands several times. Okay ladies, let's go. Shotgun. They all piled into Suga's car, Oikawa and Atsumu in the back. The whole car ride was spent stealing glances at Oikawa, who more often than not was already looking at Atsumu. The four of them entered the party, and Oikawa handed Atsumu a Jell-O shot, then another, then another. The music was loud and thrumming against Atsumu's skull, and there had been around 4 guys that had approached him in a gross attempt to flirt. Atsumu had gone to the backyard for air when Oikawa slinked next to him with a red solo cup and a sloppy smile on his face. Hey! Hey! Are you not having fun? Oikawa pouts. Why aren't you having fun? Are you still upset about Sakusa? Atsumu shrugged. I guess so. He's sort of an asshole. Yeah, sometimes. But when it's good, it's really good, so. Oikawa giggled, looking at Atsumu with light amusement. You look too good to be upset over a boy. You think? Oikawa took another sip from his cup. I'm too drunk to answer that. Why? I'm just. Oikawa giggled again. You just look really good. Yeah, you said that. I did. Yeah, like 3 times. The music increases inside and Oikawa has to lean in towards Atsumu's ear. Where are the pom-poms? Atsumu laughs, leaning over and picking up the pom-poms from his feet and shaking them with faux enthusiasm. Go Foxes. Oikawa scoffs. You can do better than that. Atsumu rolled his eyes. That was my best. That sucked. Atsumu took a deep breath, shaking the pom-poms and throwing his hands into the air. Go Foxes. Atsumu shakes his hips and pretends to flip his hair back, imitating the routine that the cheerleaders used to do at his volleyball matches. How was that? Oikawa giggles like a little kid, clapping like he just watched an Oscar-worthy performance. That was so good, that was so good. That made my whole night, oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm glad. Because it was humiliating for me. Oikawa's eyes were glossy and half-closed, but Atsumu could still see them moving from his eyes, then flitting back down to his lips. Is it okay? For me to kiss you? The thought of Sakusa hardly passed through Atsumu's head as he closed the distance between them. The kiss was slow and long, and Atsumu found himself enjoying it more than any kiss he had shared with Sakusa. His hands were tangled in Oikawa's hair, and Oikawa's hands were on Atsumu's waist, who had at some point ended up sat on the outside table. Atsumu knew he should probably pull back for air, he knew that he probably shouldn't even be doing this at all. Deep down Atsumu knew that it wasn't fair to Sakusa, but all he could manage was to pull Oikawa closer, as close as possible. As close as Oikawa would let him. What are you doing? The two practically jumped away from each other, looking up at Akashi who was standing by the sliding door with nothing more than mild annoyance on his face. Ah! You have a boyfriend. Atsumu felt his cheeks go hot, but not with shame. We're on a break. Yeah, okay. He looks between the two of them with a straight and unimpressed face. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. Can you not tell, Sugar? Akashi just shrugs, turning away and walking back into the house. He's not gonna tell, right? No, he wouldn't do that, right? Right. There's a bit of silence before Oikawa talks again. Do you wanna, go upstairs? Hell yeah. Atsumu grabs Oikawa's hand and pulled him back inside, the two of them giggling their way up the stairs and trying to find an unoccupied room. It was almost childish, the way they couldn't keep their hands off of each other. Is this a bad idea? Atsumu closed the door behind them. No, I don't think it is. The rest of the night, Sakusa was the last thing on Atsumu's mind. He was nothing more than a dull humming in the back of Atsumu's skull. And the way that Oikawa gazed at Atsumu made him feel so loved and seen he didn't know what to do with himself. You're crying. Atsumu sniffled and wiped a tear from his eye. Oikawa's thumb brushed under Atsumu's cheek as he smiled softly. I get it. You don't have to say anything, I get it. Sakusa was halfway through cleaning the oven when Atsumu finished talking. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. For some reason, hearing all that did make him feel better. He liked to know things, and to be in the loop, and he felt sort of at peace as he squatted next to the oven. So that's how it happened. Yeah. Sakusa stared at his phone for a second, and felt the hurt in the pit of his stomach flare up again. So it wasn't just meaningless sex. It meant something to the two of you. Sort of. Sakusa scrubbed the oven harder. Oh. Did that make it worse for you? Sakusa laughs humorlessly. Do you think that it can get worse for me? Sorry. Sakusa stood up, cracking his back and picking up his phone from the counter. Everyone knows, did you know that? I've been getting texts all day. What were they saying? Sakusa sprayed the back of the oven for the third time that night. They're saying that they're here for me, and that they're sorry. You know, some of them were saying really rude things about you. I can imagine. I almost wanted to defend you. It was weird. I mean, I'm sure most of what they were saying was true. Sakusa hummed and went back to scrubbing. It doesn't bother you that they think that? I only care what you think. That one sentence tore a hole in Sakusa's chest. I still love you. And I think it'll be a while before I stop loving you. I'm a really careful person, especially about who I let into my life, and I was really good at being alone until I met you. And then you forced your way into my life, and you made it better. And I started hating being alone. There's a lot of things that I've only ever told you. I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell another person those things. There were a lot of things I only ever told you, Omi. Stuff I haven't even told Oikawa. You have a lot of my secrets too. You have all of them. Sakusa felt a sob force its way out of his throat as he gripped the counter, his knuckles turning white. You have all of mine too. I hope you'll keep my secrets, even if we aren't on good terms. I'll keep yours. Yeah, of course. We can. Sakusa closes his eyes and tries to take another deep breath, but he can't. This is the last time we're gonna talk for a while, for a long while, maybe forever. I hope it's not forever. Me too. I don't want you to think that because this didn't work out, that no one will be able to love you as you are. You were horrible, and I was horrible, and we were horrible together. But I loved you, I really did. It's possible for someone to love you. Sakusa could hear Atsumu crying on the other end of the call. I'm sorry I didn't give you everything you needed, I'm sorry I wasn't able to. I'm sorry I asked so much from you. I'm sorry I wasn't patient enough. You deserve better. Sakusa pressed his palms against his eyes to hold back the tears, but they just kept coming. Omi, you deserve better than me. You deserve better too. I love you. It was almost a whisper, so quiet that Sakusa could have mistaken it for just being in his head. I love you too. The call cuts, and Sakusa sits on the floor with his head between his knees. He hoped this was his rock bottom, he hoped that from here, he could only go up.